Hi there, this is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the worst recording that Pierre Boulez ever made. Or, well, it might be the best recording of the worst piece of music that Pierre Boulez ever made. I'll let you decide that for yourself. Incidentally, if you're wondering what this says, it was a gift from my mother, and I particularly enjoy the thing here on this t-shirt. I have no idea what it means, but she thought it was amusing and I promised her I would wear it. So, Mom, this one's for you. Anyway, the piece is, this is really special. It's one of those real sleepers in the Boulez discography. It's a sleeper for more reasons than one. It is this, Wagner's Das Liebesmahl der Apostel, the love feast of the apostles. Does anyone listen to it? Does anyone care? Does anyone know what it is? Well, I'm going to tell you what it is. First of all, the title speaks for itself. It is a revoltingly Biedermeierish, sappy piece of romantic German saccharine religiosity and written for a 1,200 voice male choir with an orchestra that comes in like the last 10 minutes. It's endless. It lasts, I don't know, 40 minutes, 35 minutes. It seems to go on forever. Let's just put it that way. Wagner wrote it in 1842, which is right around the time of the premiere of The Flying Dutchman and the big success of Rienzi, and he was going to work on Tannhäuser, and his career was just taking off. And he wrote it for all of the male choirs in Saxony, the capital of which was Dresden, where he was at the time Hofkapellmeister to the king. And so the king wanted something for all of his male choral societies to sing, and Wagner came up with this piece of garbage. Now, even Wagner thought it was a piece of garbage. He thought that the effect of the whole work was totally disappointing, although Liszt enjoyed it because Liszt enjoyed everything that reeked of saccharine bourgeois religiosity. But in any case, this work was one of the great nightmares of my musical life. I was lying home in bed, sick with an asthma attack, trying to breathe. I was in high school. There was an all-night radio show on WQXR. Some of you may remember that. And they played all kinds of stuff. And one of the things they were going to do was Daphnis and Chloe. And as I was wheezing along, trying to gasp and get air, I thought, well, Daphnis and Chloe is nice. But first, the announcer said, we want to present Wagner's Love Feast of the Apostles for unaccompanied male choir and later orchestra. And I said to myself, Dave, how long can a piece for unaccompanied male choir possibly be? And it's by Wagner, right? How dull can it be? Well, you should just try having an asthma attack while you're listening to the Love Feast of the Apostles. It almost did me in entirely. And Pierre Boulez conducts it in a manner which is entirely worthy of the completely somnolescent musical content. There isn't a ripple of interest anywhere on this disc. Well, there is actually, because the Siegfried Idyll comes next, but even that, the interest is slight. But let's talk for a minute about the nature of the work. It's actually very interesting as to why it was written and for whom and what and how. And for that, I actually want to talk about a moment in history that was very, very important in the history of Germany and German music. I'm showing you a book here. This is by the great historian George L. Mossey, who I knew, and who was an absolutely brilliant historian of German culture. He worked at the University of Wisconsin at Madison. The Nationalization of the Masses is the name of the book. The subtitle is Political Symbolism and Mass Movements in Germany from the Napoleonic Wars through the Third Reich. One of the reasons that Wagner was such a German nationalist and expressed his German nationalism through music, through culture, is because before the wars of German unification, before Germany was unified in the early 1870s, there were these mass movements to try and create a unified Germany through cultural means, because politically, as you know, Germany was completely fragmented. It was in a million different pieces, but there were singing societies and gymnastic societies, and there was a certain artistic movement and architectural movement, and all of these things were an effort to create a nation state where none existed politically. And within that context, culture and musical culture became incredibly important. And that was the circumstance in which Wagner composed this utter failure for 1200 voice male choir, the Love Feast of the Apostles. So if you're interested in that period, and the period itself is fascinating, even if the music is garbage, I really recommend that you not listen to this, because life is too short, but that you read George L. Mosey's The Nationalization of the Masses, an absolutely fascinating work of cultural history. As for the Boulez recording, like I said, folks, keep on listening, but sometimes we have to keep on listening to other things, not to this bow wow of a piece. And this, I guess, I don't know. Is it well performed? You know, the sad thing is, it doesn't matter. Thank you for watching.